Hey guys, I'm John Setzler. Welcome back to Atlanta Grill Company. I have another brisket, so we're going to cook another brisket. Let's get started. The first thing I want to do on my brisket project today is get the Myron Mixon Bark 2400 fired up. So I've got it set up running at 200 degrees Fahrenheit. And the next thing I want to do is introduce you to the star of today's show. This is a 16.5 pound choice Angus beef brisket that I picked up from Sam's Club. It's a really nice sized brisket, and what I'm going to do to get started here is I'm going to trim this guy up, and I'm going to do that off camera. Okay, I've got my brisket trimmed, and the next thing I'm going to do is something that I don't normally do. I've never done this before, so this is going to be new for me. I have taken some beef tallow, and I have melted that, and I took about a tablespoon of the Atlanta Grill Company Argentina steak rub that I'm going to use on this brisket, and I put it in my spice grinder and ground it up real fine and mixed it in with this melted beef tallow. So what we're going to do is I'm going to draw that up in my syringe, and I'm just going to inject this flat with this tallow. And as I go, I'm just kind of injecting against the grain here and kind of trying to keep my finger over the hole. Keep most of that in there. You can kind of feel it puffing up as you go. And also, I've given this tallow a chance to cool down a bit since I melted it. I don't want to inject it in there hot, so it's almost back down to room temperature, and putting it on this cold brisket will cause it to solidify. As you can see, it's already doing that. And I've got about a cup of beef tallow, and I'm planning to inject all of that into the flat on this brisket. I'm not going to inject the point, just the flat. And after I have that injected, I'm going to give it about 10 or 15 minutes to sit before we put the rub in. So I've given that tallow a chance to set up in there. So now I'm going to go ahead and season this guy. And we're using the Atlanta Grill Company Argentina steak. And I'm going to put a fairly liberal coat of that here to start with on the fat cap side. And then I'm going to give that a few minutes to adhere before we flip it over and hit the back side. And now we'll just do the same thing to the top side. I'm going to cook this thing fat cap down, so this is going to be the upside on this brisket. And I have never seasoned a brisket before with this Argentina steak, but I think it's going to be amazing. It's going to have an amazing flavor. This is the Atlanta Grill Company rub of the month for May, so I'm trying to use it every chance I get. So we're going to let this guy set up here and let that rub it here for about maybe 20 minutes or so, and then we're going to put it on the grill. Okay, we're ready to put this guy on the smoker. I've got a Dutch oven in there that I've put the trimmings from that brisket on, and I'm going to let those trimmings render down into beef tallow. So we're just going to set that big brisket here on the smoker. I'm going to close this guy up, and we're not going to open the lid again for 12 hours. Okay, we've been going 12 hours, and this guy's looking pretty good. The internal temperature of the meat's not quite up to where I want it yet. We're at about 145 internal, and I'm going to let this cook until I get 160 or 165 here. That bark is starting to look really good, so now I'm going to ramp the temperature in the smoker up to about 250. We've been going another 2 or 2.5 hours here, and the internal temperature on my brisket is up to about 162, 163. I'm pretty happy with how this bark looks, so we're going to move to the foil boat section now. Okay, so I've set my brisket on the foil, and What we're gonna do is we're gonna flip this guy over. This is the side we cooked up, so I'm gonna flip it and we're gonna go bark side down on this. And what we're just gonna do here is I've got a double layer of foil that we're just gonna bunch up around the outside, and we're creating just what they call a foil boat here, which will collect the renderings from this guy and allow this brisket to sort of braise in the juices that render. So this is what we're looking for here. So we're going to put this back on the smoker. So we'll just take this guy and set him right back on the smoker in his little foil boat, and we'll let this guy finish cooking. Okay guys, our brisket is finished. I just checked this guy. It is probing absolutely tender everywhere. That bark's looking fantastic. So we're gonna get this guy off the grill. So very carefully, I'm gonna lift this guy right off the grill and set it in its foil in my hotel pan. And then I'm just gonna cover that with some more aluminum foil. And then we are going to wrap it in the towels. And we're gonna let that guy rest just like that for 2 hours before we come back to tear that apart. So I let this guy rest for about 2 hours. So we're gonna have a look in here. Man, that is looking crazy, guys. Have a look at this. Man, that thing is just awesome. I'm gonna slice a piece off of that. It's got a beautiful smoke ring on it, and that piece is a little thick. Let me slice one a little thinner. How's that for the flex test? Man, that's looking crazy, and it's just coming right apart. Super tender from down at the flat end. I'm gonna have a taste of this. Man. Guys, that is crazy tasty. That is amazing. I think I've about got this technique licked when it comes to cooking briskets on the pellet grill. The longer time at the lower temperature makes a beautiful bark, puts a beautiful smoke flavor on this, and it just comes out delicious, guys. I believe this is going to be one of the most tender pieces of flat that I've ever had. I'll see if I can get up a little closer here where you can have a look at that smoke ring on that piece. And guys, it just comes right apart. That's amazing. That Atlanta Grill Company Argentina steak has made one of the best flavor barks I think I've ever had on a brisket. Guys, you're gonna have to give this one a try. Let me know what you think. Until next time, this is John Setzler with Atlanta Grill Company.